All right, cool. So yeah, I'm all set to go. So thanks for everybody for joining. I know it's not too many people in here right now, but hopefully people will start coming in as we get started. And today I was going to be going over how you can automate your business with command, basically using Smartplans. And if you joined me in this class before, you probably have an idea of how the Smartplans work. But I'm going to be going into, how you can set one up, what they do, and how you can actually create your own custom ones if you wanted. And if anybody has questions, you can always feel free to, unmute yourself and ask as I go along. But I'm going to get started. I'm going to go into command. And what I'm going to do now is just minimize some of the stuff so I can see my screen. What I'm going to be doing now, and we're going to be generally working within this section here. I'll go into contacts as well so you can see how it works with the contacts. But we're going to essentially be working with Smartplans today. So to get started, we can go into, we can click on our trusty red button here. It's my favorite piece of command. If we go into Smartplans, which is this one here, it's the fourth one down. We're going to be led to this smart plan library. So right now, what I'm showing is my particular library, which it has any of the smart plans I would have installed over the past, the lifespan of the system. And as you can see, I have quite a few because I do a lot of demos on this. If you're not seeing any, I'm going to show you how you can actually start adding your own. And then we can also go over how you can create your own as well, because I think there's a lot of cool things in there that you can do. But the idea is with smart plans is really just to kind of organize and help you systematize your follow-ups. So things like your open house follow-ups or lead follow-ups from Facebook, or even setting up a have met on a monthly neighborhood nurture to send them market updates. There's a lot of value within smart plans right now. And I think everybody can find some sort of smart plan to put their clients on or contacts on. So let's get started. If we're in the smart plan menu, as I mentioned, I'm going to have my personal library here. And then there's going to be the main library, which is going to be the KWRI provided smart plans. And I'm really looking forward to the feature that they're adding soon for sharing smart plans, because then you'll be able to actually share or receive smart plans from just about any agent from across the KW ecosystem. Another thing is right now you're currently building out these smart plans. When you're actually able to share them, you can save agents a lot of time by being able to share that particular smart plan versus creating it. But I do think the fun in smart plans is also creating your own and personalizing it to how you do your business. So as you can see here, I'm currently in my smart plan library, and this is going to contain all the KW provided smart plans. They are free, so you're not paying to have these installed. So as you can see here, we have quite a few. Promote My Consumer app, that's one of the newer ones. This is one you can use to help promote your KW app to your clients. So if you want to be able to send them over a link to your app via email and then have some follow-up text involved with that, that's what the smart plan's there for. It's to help you kind of generate more buzz around your consumer app and just kind of informing people about what it does. And you can see here, level up your lead gen by launching the smart plan that puts your app in the hands of current and future contacts. Cool stuff. So as you can see here, how do we find, Casey's asking, okay, no worries, yeah, all good. As you can see here, under the library that I'm currently in, again, these are going to be the smart plans that KW is providing for free. And there's two different buttons here. You have your description, the amount of steps and touches involved, the duration, which is 5 days. And if you go to view steps, this will actually give you an overview of the steps involved with that smart plan. If you hover over the step as well. Typically, they'll give you like what type of text they'll send out or what type of text suggestion. Again, because this is going to be something you can personalize, you don't necessarily have to use the same verbiage. You can customize it to whatever you want. As I start going through the customization, you'll see how that works. Then you have your delays, and then you have any additional steps here. So that's the promote my app one. Then you'll have like some of your biweekly, monthly neighborhood nurtures. Those are going to be those neighborhood searches you can set up. And then you go into some of the more, here's one, for example, with the 8x8, which is building relationships and winning the mindshare battle. I love that buzzword, the mindshare battle. So basically the 8x8 is really there to help provide you with a way to keep top of mind or mindshare with that particular person you're trying to win over and create a relationship with. So I do like that it has, like, if you go into the steps here, there's quite a lot of touches, but you'll notice as well is that there are a lot of texting and phone call touches. But there is some email stuff, but again, it's going to be primarily focused on the personal touches, what you're texting and phone calls. So as you can see here, quite a few steps with that 8x8, and then it will also link them to a neighborhood nurture, which then you'll have a follow-up call on later on. So it's very much kind of pre-programmed for you to really get the ground running. Open house reminders, you have your birthday and home anniversary reminders. So basically all you would really need to get started is already in here for you. And as I said, this is going to be considered almost like a marketplace moving into the future, where there'll be quite a few different types of smart plans you can choose from. So I'm looking forward to when they really flesh out this system. Any smart plans that we want to add, we can use that add smart plan button, and those will be sent over to my personal smart plan library, where I can then kind of reuse that as much as I want or put out however many people I want on that. There are certain questions that I get quite often is when you're putting people on smart plans, is there a way to have it kind of set up different amounts per day? That way you're not setting up 100 people on a smart plan and you're going to have like 100 notifications every day. The idea is that you can actually stagger them, which will allow you to only have it set up to send maybe, let's say, 10 per day. So you're only sending it out to 10, let's say 20 per day. That way you're not overwhelming yourself with like 100 notifications or phone calls per day. So that's one question I get quite often. I'm going to show you how that works once we get into some of the contact stuff, but just as a heads up. So that's going to be how the library works. There is a Kelly guide set up here. I'm not going to go into that right now, but the Kelly guide also kind of walks you through the steps in more of like a wizard format. So if you're looking to just get kind of jump started, you can use that Kelly guide to help out. If I go back into my smart plans, I mentioned again, this is going to have all the smart plans I have currently installed. You'll also have here a field for the contacts, and I'll show you how many contacts are currently on that smart plan, the duration, and the total amount of touches. So in this case, it's only one email per month. So that's why it's saying one touch. There's currently 11 contacts on that smart plan. And over on the right-hand side are some additional options, which they're calling actions. I can add people to smart plans. I could copy this particular one. I can't right now because it's just a general one. So that one is already going to be set up for you. You don't have to create a duplicate for it. You can't also edit it either. Again, this is just going to be a smart plan that's one email per month. There's nothing really to it. It's already there built for you. But if I need to add anybody, there's that little add button. And I can do this by tags. I can do it by specific contact name. Let's say I want to do it by a tag. And let's say we're going to do it by let's say we're going to do a past client tag. Right now it's not letting me load into it. Here we go. So let's say I'm going to do my past clients. And you'll see here, any tag that I select, I can select multiple tags. I can put all those people on a smart plan just by selecting the tag, or I can do it by one. I believe you can select up to 20 at a time. So if you have a list of like 100 people, you'll have to do it by 20. Now, if I wanted to add them to that smart plan, all I would simply do is hit add smart plan. And you can see here what I can do is I could stagger. I can start it right now. I can start it on a specific date. And what I mentioned before is staggering. So you'll see here in the example, it's saying if you add 11 people to that smart plan and you stagger it 4 per day, then the contact smart plan would be active for 4 contacts a day, 4 tomorrow, and then 3 the next day. So basically, it's just helping you manage the amount of people you're reaching out to per day. Because if I did, if I had 100 on the smart plan, I'm not going to want to do 100 per day, right? So I might stagger it. Maybe I'll say I want to do 20 per day. In this case, I only have 3 people on it. So it's only going to give me the option to do 1 per day. But like if I had it 100, I can stagger it, however many people that I can manage per day. Does that make sense? And I am just kind of letting people in here as I go along. Just don't mind me. But I hope that made sense to everybody. I think this is a really important feature because I know the question I get quite often is like people trying to add hundreds of people to a smart plan at a time. But you might not necessarily be thinking what would happen if you did that. So being able to stagger that and kind of give you a little bit of that breathing room, I think that's super awesome that they added that in. So if I hit confirm, that would add all those people I had onto that smart plan. Now let's just go back to my dashboard real quickly. If I go to the home screen here, you'll notice in my tasks, I do have some smart plans currently set up for people, and they are actually giving me a task that's due, and I'm a little overdue here, guys, sorry. One is to send a text to myself here. I put myself on an 8x8 the other day, so it's telling me I have to text them to remind me, hey, let's go grab lunch or coffee sometime. Maybe I don't want to actually say that. I can, essentially edit that however I want. I have some of my follow-up tasks here that are adding people to neighborhoods, a follow-up in regards to a property search we had set up. So you're going to have these tasks set up into your dashboard here. You'll see them once they're due. And then that's going to be a great way to remind you that you have things that need to be done. You'll also get a notification through the Kelly app. So definitely make sure if you have Kelly installed that you have notifications turned on. And then you'd be good to go. Luann, you had a question about Twilio. It's going to send that automated text if you do have Twilio set up, correct? You should be getting a reminder that it is going to be sending out as a task, but I can look into that a little bit further because I don't have Twilio set up, so I haven't actually been able to experiment with it too much.
Oh, okay. I thought you had it. Okay.
But I believe here, if you hover over it, sorry, you'll see here that it does give you in the description here, configure Twilio to have notifications sent automatically or text sent automatically. So I believe it's going to have that set up as a task reminder either way that you can then mark as completed once it's done. But I can look into that a little bit further. Is there a way we'll know if Twilio had sent it? There's going to be under last updated that you had sent something to your contact recently. Also, if they reply back, you do get a notification through Kelly as well. And that lets you know that they had responded back to the text you sent them. Right now, that's the only way that I know that you'll be notified that you have been receiving any sort of responses back. And you can also see within the contact card whether or not they responded back as well. Cool. All right. Let me go back in the smart plans real quickly. So we went over the main section of my smart plans here, going over where the contacts are, duration, total touches, and then some of your actions. Now, let's say we wanted to actually create our own smart plan, or maybe we wanted to just edit one that we already had. So I'm going to go down to the one, let's just use the promote my app one, for example. You'll notice here that in addition to that add contact button, there's one here called edit. And if we click edit, that's going to allow me to actually edit the smart plan that's currently available to me. And that could be something like editing the text message that goes out. The email I can't actually edit because that's just a preset email, which is essentially a template. But I could change, the text that's going to go out that follows up. And there's another one in here that I can also change. So some of these smart plans you're installing will have some action steps you can edit. And that's why you can see here, if I wanted to edit this, I can actually click in and I can change out the text if I wanted to. This is just going to basically follow up with the client after you sent the app email. And it's going to let them know again, like, hey, if you haven't already checked your neighborhood stats, my app can let you know about that. So this is something that's just going to essentially follow up with them about downloading your app and connecting with you. So I'm going to go back and I want to be able to show you, not right now. I want to be able to show you how you can actually create your smart plan and how simple it actually is. If we go to create, which is over here under this menu, let's just call this, we'll do a Facebook follow-up ad. And we're just going to call this test 513. We're going to hit apply. And what I'm going to do now, as you can see, this is going to be your blank sheet of paper. Let's just call it a paper. And if you recall within command, the actual interface is very similar to if you're creating like a landing page or an agent website page, or even, a campaign. So, on my left-hand side here is going to be the preview. I have the widgets on the right. So let's say we want to create a follow-up for a Facebook ad we created yesterday. Sorry. And we are starting to get leads inside the system. We're tagging those leads as Facebook leads, and we want to start putting them onto a smart plan as soon as they're starting to come in. So what I might do is create a follow-up for that. So the first thing I'm going to do, as soon as the lead comes in, I want to be able to send them some sort of text message, just kind of thanking them for, submitting their information, and then maybe asking if there's any sort of questions they may have that I can help them with. So if I click send SMS, it's going to bring me to this box here that's going to allow me to create a text message. And again, if I have Twilio set up, this would actually automate that for me. So it would send it out automatically. If I don't have Twilio, this would send me a task reminder that will allow me to just kind of reference towards this, which would help me when I'm actually sending it out later. So let's say we're going to delete this. Actually, I want to just delete that real quick. I want to create a delay first. So maybe the set delay is going to be 1 day after that lead is captured and put into my database. So I'm going to delay that 1 day. And I'm going to create a SMS or text message reminder. And I don't know why they use the verbiage SMS or MMS. Does anybody still say that? I feel like that's very much like the dawn of the iPhone era. Anyway, just a little
Humor.
side note there. Message type, I get the question a lot about what the difference between a static and dynamic message is. So a dynamic message, if you're going to be putting multiple people on this smart plan, you can have multiple different types of messages go out. So it's kind of rotating. It's probably more beneficial if you're using Twilio, because then that would just automate the the rotation for you. If you're going to be doing this manually, you might just switch up the message on your phone while you're doing it. But to be able to have this dynamically set up, you can put in multiple types of messages, like different variations. That way you're not sending out the same message to everybody. They might get something different from you. Does that make sense to everybody in here? Because I know I get that question quite often, what the difference between those two are. So the difference really is, and with static, it's essentially one type of message. Dynamic is going to be, you can set up multiple variations of that message. That way, anybody who's on that smart plan will get some sort of different message from you. Cool. All right. So if I set up the message here, I can say, hi, we can say, hey, and maybe I'll have a merge code here as the first name. So it's going to say, hey, first name. Basically, it's going to be the first name of the client, whatever they submitted to me. Again, you don't necessarily have to do this, but I'm doing it as just a kind of be, kind of if I'm going to automate this a little bit, I would just have the contact name appear there. So I can say, hey, first name. Thanks for clicking through my Facebook ad and requesting more information around the property featured. The reason why I'm saying the property featured is if I'm running multiple types of ads for different properties, instead of having to essentially edit this text all the time, I can just have it kind of a little bit more broader. There's workarounds for that. You can duplicate the same kind of one and then put it on for different properties. I'm just going to keep it a little bit more simple.
Mhm.
That way this can kind of go out without having to worry about using the incorrect property information. So let's say, hey, hey, so-and-so, thanks for clicking through my Facebook ad and requesting more information around the property. I can say, I realize you may not be looking to buy or sell right away, but I wanted to follow up and see if you had any additional questions. Thanks. And I can say Chris. Something like that, right? So this would just be a nice little kind of icebreaker type of message, letting them know, like, I know you might not be interested right now, but I just want to follow up, see if you had any additional questions for me. So it's a nice way to create a follow-up around those leads. Again, the leads that I've seen coming in from Facebook are going to essentially be cold. They're going to be leads that you might have to cultivate for a little while before they actually convert over. So I'm just trying to break the ice, make it a little bit less less kind of pushy, I suppose. Does that make sense? In any case, once I'm satisfied with my message, I can hit save. And then I might put additional delays. Maybe I'll put a delay for 3 days or 4 days, depending on how I want to have it set. And then what I might do is I might set up a phone call, or I might set up another text, depending on how you want to do it. So if I set up another text, I might just follow up and see if they had a chance to see the message I sent earlier. And it just could be just following up on that last message I sent.
Ugh, like shit.
Everything all right?
Oh, I'm sorry.
You're good. So anyway, as you can see, I'm kind of just breaking out the steps here. This would just be an additional follow-up message. I'm not going to write out the whole thing. I'll just mute you real quick. You're good.
You better mute me.
Just to kind of break down the steps again. Now there's different types of recipes for this. I'm stuck on calling these recipes just because when I'm building it, I feel like I'm, making something, kind of like crafting something. So I like to call them recipes because you can just essentially build it, have it saved. You can reuse it again, kind of like a recipe. So when I'm building this out, I can reuse this again in the future. I can duplicate it. I can modify it. I can, as soon as I start putting people on it, it's going to really help me automate a lot of this stuff that I'm trying to do. So as I go through this, I might set another delay here and we can put it in for maybe 5 days. And then maybe after the 5th day, I'll send them an email. So maybe the email I'll send them is going to be something around my consumer app. And in this case, when you're doing emails, you have two different types. So I get this question often as well. What is the difference between a simple email and what is an HTML email? A simple email is really just going to be your just basic, you're writing it up in email in Gmail. That's kind of what your basic simple email is going to be. I can just say something like, have you had, I'm trying to think of a good subject line. I'm kind of drawing a blank here. I'll just say something like, just say like, hi again, just wanted to follow up. And I can just kind of go into the email, what I'm trying to write up. I can just say something like, hi, we can use a merge tag here because these also work. So in addition to working with your emails, in addition to working with your text messages, the merge tags also work with emails too, which also makes that quite useful. And these are automated too. So these will go out automatically. I don't have to send them out myself. They'll go out right on time. And I can say like, hi, we can say like, hey, whatever their first name is. Maybe it's John, maybe it's Scooby-Doo, Fred Flintstone, whatever. We can say, hey, contact, just wanted to touch base again. We spoke earlier last week in regards to one of my Facebook ads and wanted to also share my consumer app with you. It's free and provides full listing and rental search. Something like that. Now, if I wasn't feeling too crafty about my wording there, I can also use an HTML email, which they probably should change that. It should probably say something like template, because I think that would be a little bit more, I think it would be easier for people to understand. But basically the HTML is going to have a set of pre-created templates in here. And for this example, if I wanted to actually send them a consumer app email, I can hit promote your app because there is quite a few in here. I might even send them one of these at some point. But if I wanted to send them over a consumer app email, I can hit next. And you can also preview this if you want to see what it looks like. And you can see here, this is going to just have information about my app, what they can do with it. And then it's going to have my download link here as well. So it's also very useful. Does anybody have questions so far? Okay, all good. So again, as I'm doing this, I can create additional set delays. And then at this point, I might be able to kind of get an idea of when they might be looking. If I want, I can put them onto an additional smart plan after that. I can say maybe after my last phone call with them, I can probably gauge whether or not they're ready to kind of start working with me, or whether or not they need a lot more time. Because then I can put them onto a smart plan. Maybe it'll be my quarterly call plan. So I might essentially call them later on, or I might put them on a monthly neighborhood nurture, at least so they're getting touched by me every month. Depending on how you want to do it. But in this case, I might essentially put them into a, let's say I'll put them onto a monthly neighborhood nurture. Just going into the chat here. Oh, no worries, Luann. We're all good. Is that clear to everybody how I was setting up that smart plan? So I think the last class I did, I went over like a one that was set up on command your conversion, which I will actually show. I want everybody to see this. Command Your Conversion is a Facebook group set up by some of the agents from KW. And if you've ever been in there, Nick Baldwin is one of the ones that posts in there quite a lot. He might be an admin, I'm not sure. But this particular group has a lot of awesome resources. I highly suggest signing up to it or kind of just joining into it. And if I go into files here, you're going to see here, like the first thing that's actually in there is a Facebook ad lead follow-up. I can click into it. I just want to show you what it looks like. Let's open up this doc. So this is one of the Facebook ad follow-ups that was uploaded into that particular Facebook group. You'll see here every 2 days, make a call where you leave a voicemail, send an email, and send a text, all with similar messaging. So this is a little bit different than how I set it up, but you can see this is another idea of how you can follow up with those Facebook leads. Tried calling and texting you, so this would be a text message. I think this is an email follow-up. So then it's going to go through additional types of, email templates that you can choose from as well. Very useful. In this particular one, it looks like it's 8 steps. And then you can see here, switch to a monthly long-term nurture. So kind of like how I was doing that. Is that clear to everybody? So again, what I would definitely suggest doing, sign up to this group or join the group rather, and then take a look at some of the files they're providing because there's a lot of awesome resources in here. And specifically around some of those smart plans, a lot of awesome follow-up tools in here. Again, once you have shareable ones, I think it's going to be a game changer for everybody because then you can have those shared and those can just be automatically added to your library. I can't wait for those. You can go crazy with them once they come out. All right, cool. I'm going to go back and I do want to show one other thing and then we can go into any additional questions. Actually, before I do that, just so you can see on the top here, there's a bar. And I can use this to add people to smart plans. Let's just save this. So again, I can say if I have my Facebook leads in here, I can use the tag for Facebook leads. I don't think I have one set up actually for Facebook leads right now. But if I did, I can select by tag. I can go select all. And I can do it, you can see, by 20. So let's say I do have like 20 leads coming in from my Facebook ad over the course of a week, which is pretty good. I can then start putting them onto a smart plan right away. Now I'm going to go into my contacts here because I mentioned before, in addition to smart plans, there is some functionality within the contact cards as well, which does save you a little bit of time. So let's say this is one of my Facebook leads. So this came in from Facebook or even in from a landing page, and I want to put them onto a smart plan. So on the right-hand side here, you'll see this is a activity log, but then it also gives me the ability to put them into an opportunity. I can put them into a smart plan and I can add them to tasks. So let's say in this case, and I'm just going to mark this as complete. Let's say I want to add them to a 8x8 campaign. So if you recall, we went into my smart plans, I added that to my library, and I want to add them to a smart plan here. We can go ahead and hit that add to smart plan button. And then all the smart plans I currently have available to myself, I can go ahead and add here. So you can see here my 8x8 campaigns. If I hit select, it's going to ask me if I want to start it now or the day after, which is tomorrow. Or I can select a different date. Maybe I want to start them up on Monday, start a fresh week, depending on how I want to do it. Or I can start immediately. I would hit confirm. And then it's going to give you this disclaimer here saying, you need Twilio set up to have automated texting. But then it's going to give you a overview of the steps involved. So you got your texting, you have a delay, an email step, another delay, phone call, and you'll see, etc. Once I'm good to go, I can hit confirm, and then that client will be directly added to that smart plan. As you can see, I do have them on a neighborhood nurture already. So this is what it's going to look like once they're added. You know, it's going to say when the date was added, when it was last executed. That just means that they were added, or, you know, if this was June, this would change to June 4th versus May 4th. So it's every month it's going to say when it was last executed, which is great. And that also keeps you up to date too. So it's going to let you know when that person was last updated. In this case, it was 10 days ago. I should probably follow up with that person. All right, cool. So I think that would really kind of cover what I wanted to go over. Does anybody have any questions? We can open up to questions now. We have a little bit of time.
So if you clicked right now on all activity for that contact, it would show whatever responses or whatever searches that that contact was doing on their smart plan.
You're correct.
And that's where we would know if Twilio was working.
Exactly. So basically when you see here in their timeline, when you have an automated text go out, there's going to be like a chat bubble here. And you can actually start like a chat thread through command, which is also pretty cool. So if they respond back, you'll have their response here, and then you can actually respond back to their text in here as well. So you create like a chat thread.
How do you do that?
It's going to pop up in your timeline. Unfortunately, I don't have a good example of that because I don't have Twilio right now. But if I had a text set up and it went into, let's say I had responded to it, you'll have that in your activity log for that client, and then you can actually respond back to the text through command.
Okay, so it still would be in that activity log.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Cassie's asking, is it possible to add Facebook leads directly to command, or does each lead need to be manually entered? So good question. With Facebook ad leads, they actually come into your database automatically, so you don't have to worry about doing that manually. So any leads that you're generating from your campaigns, which I believe we have a class, I think we have a class this week for that. If not, I definitely have a really awesome video. Basically, when you're generating leads from your command campaigns, those automatically go into your database, so you don't have to manually enter them. If you're doing it from Facebook directly, however, you would, or you can, PySync has an integration with Facebook leads. So if you have them coming in from Facebook directly, you can have it connect with your command that way. But doing it through command directly is just a lot more, I would say it's a lot easier. Hope that answered your question.
I have a question, Chris.
Yeah.
Nothing to do with a smart plan, but if I want to send a new listing through command instead of MLS, it's better to do it through command, right? Because
yeah, good question.
That.
So I've been seeing these with smart plans as well, where and I actually received one as a text from another agent before. What they did was they went to their agent site, and they took that listing address for their property, and then they sent it to me as a text message. So like, if I use the example here, I'll just off the top of my head, I was working with an agent. She has 174 Oaks Road. Oaks Road. What town was that in again? I can't remember the town. Sorry.
I think it was.
What was that?
West Milford, was it?
Oh, maybe you're right.
I think I might.
Anyway, let's just say, for example, as I was drawing a blank on the address, let's say it was like this one here.
Okay.
So like this was my listing, correct? And I wanted to send that to my client as a link. So previously you can do it as just like an MLS, you know, that report.
Mm-hmm.
But let's say I want to actually just kind of have them be led to my website, which I think is a lot more beneficial, because then not only can they see this property, but they can also do their own additional searches. They can sign up, which means they can create a saved search. And they can also create collections, but I can just kind of copy this link. This would be the property link, right?
Right.
And I'm just going to go back into command here. Now, if I was going to set this up into a smart plan, I can go into smart plans, let's say create, and we're just going to say, you know, property smart plan. We'll hit apply. Now, what I would be doing is I would go into send SMS, and it would say like, hey, whomever, you know, it could be just a merge tag for their name. Oop. Or we can just even keep it a little bit more casual. You can say, hey, just wanted to send you a property I think you may be interested in. Let me know what you think. And then I would just link them to the property here. So that would show up in the text message. They can click through it and it'll go directly to my website.
Okay.
And this
And I
could
guess-
be, you know, this would be something maybe even if I wanted to send that to my
Yeah.
sellers as a way like, hey, you know, just to let you know it's on my website here and I'm currently promoting it.
That's a good idea. I guess you could do that through your app too then, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Find the listing through my app and send it that way.
You can. Yep.
But
Good
either
idea.
one. Okay, thank you.
Cool. I did see some other questions in chat. Maria was saying, will those be tagged as Facebook leads and command database? At this current point, I don't believe it's going to tag them automatically, but they do come in. If we go to my home screen real quick, any Facebook leads that come in will be tagged or have a lead source as Facebook leads. So if I know I have 10 Facebook leads, I might just do a bulk tag for them and just call them my Facebook leads. And then maybe what I would do is put them under a tag for that specific address or specific ad that they came under. Because if, let's say, for example, let's say the past 10 people that came in, right? These would be leads that came in from my Facebook ad. And I want to put them onto a tag so I know exactly when I'm doing my smart plan that they're just going under that Facebook lead tag. You can select a bulk action and do bulk tags. And then let's say for here, I'm going to create a tag I'll call Facebook leads. And then I'll create a custom tag for that. We'll hit add. And then maybe what I'll also do is I'll create an additional tag for you know, what the property address was or what the ad was. It could be like ad for 123 Main Street, something like that, right?
Okay.
We'll just do another one. We'll hit add, submit. And then those tags should essentially be auto-populated back onto those contacts you see. So that's a good way to keep track of those particular leads as they start coming in. Again, you can see them from your dashboard as well, which is super useful. So you'll always be able to track those leads as they're coming in. You'll also get Kelly notifications. So when I mentioned keep your Kelly notifications on. Cool. Any other questions?
So Chris, I see on the right-hand side under recent leads that it still says a few seconds ago, and I think it says the same thing on mine. Is that, I mean, are they working on that? Do you know?
That's something I can look into a little bit further. I think we spoke about that the other day too, and it's still the same for me. So it must be a known issue at the moment, and they're probably working on a fix, but I can definitely follow up and find out.
Great. Thank you.
Awesome. Any other questions?
Nope.
Cool. All right. You guys are awesome. Thanks again for coming into the class. And yeah, you can always reach
Thanks,
out if there's
Chris.
any other questions. And I hope everybody enjoys the rest of their
Thank you, Chris. You're the
Thank you,
best.
Chris.
Take care.
Bye.
Thank you.